The Oromo are the single largest ethnic group in Ethiopia and East Africa, comprising more than 35% of Ethiopia's 100 million people. For years, the Oromos have protested what they say are years of discrimination and injustice. According to Amnesty International, the government has often responded with overwhelming and disproportionate force, unleashing a vicious cycle of protests and totally avoidable bloodshed. Africa 54's managing editor Vincent Makori recently spoke with Henok Gabisa, co-chair International Oromo Lawyers Association, and asked him about the grievances of the Oromo people.
Historically speaking, the way the country was built was completely on the narrative of a single type of politics and system that had never cared to include the Oromo in the center or in the national project. So that had overflown decades and had now spillover effect into what we have currently, where the Oromos were never allowed to self-rule. They were never allowed to elect their own leaders up until today. The Oromos were never allowed to have their language be used to serve them at the federal level, despite the fact that the Oromos are the majority in the country. So it's an embarrassing kind of situation to have to be a majority and still requesting or asking the government to have your language to be the federal a co-language or a co-official language at the federal level. Mm-hmm. These are some of the things that we can just pull off of our mind.
The government side said there have been so many efforts over time, and especially under the new administration, to bring everybody to the table, but that there are people who are basically anarchists who do not want to come to the table to discuss. And so the accusation is that some of you are not willing to come and resolve these issues peacefully.
That's an utter dismissal of a legitimate question. I would like to bring to your attention the fact that a few months ago that the opposition figures who trusted the reform, who trusted the change, and they went back home and they want to play a positive role in the democratization process of the entire country. But they were systematically and blatantly sidelined. And we can take, for example, the COVID-19 situation and how that plays into the election. Yes, it was necessary to postpone election, but postponement of election is a bipartisan national project. It's not a decision that only had to be taken by a single political party. The opposition figures who left diaspora, went back home, requested the government to sit at the table, discuss about the future of their country, discuss how to postpone election, make it a bipartisan decision. We're not allowed, right?
But when we asked the spokesperson of the government, Bilene Seyuma, the same question, why the opposition was not included in the decision to postpone the election due to COVID-19. She said, in fact, the opposition was involved, that it was a decision made after consultation between the electoral body, the government side, and opposition, and that perhaps some of us didn't have the facts right.
That's a national lie. As a co-chair of International Oromo Lawyers Association, we're not a political party. The Constitutional Inquiry Council published a call for expertise opinion, and Oromo lawyers in and out got together, prepared amicus curiae to support their decision, to provide expertise. And just because we had an Oromo name on our brief of amici, we got undermined and we were not allowed to be part of, even at the expertise level, let alone at the political leaders level. At the expertise level, anything that carried the Oromo name was rejected on the record.
In fact, one of the things that has baffled many people is that the Prime Minister, the current Prime Minister, has an Oromo connection. He is partly Oromo, and many thought that him coming in, he has some level of sensitivity towards the issue. What has been the frustration, the cause of frustration under the current administration? A prime minister who has actually received a lot of praise internationally, including a Nobel Prize.
True. Everyone in and out supported the prime minister. All people from all walks of life wanted the prime minister to be successful. The opposition, the pro-government, the anti-government all came together, hoping that the country would move forward. This did not long last, right? So you mentioned about the prime minister having an Oromo background. For one thing, I would answer this in two different ways. For one thing, the Oromo people did not request to have a prime minister in office. The main question of the Oromo people was to have the chance to elect their own leaders. So it does not matter who you have in the prime minister office. That can be a holder of the office. The primary demand is someone who believes in the question, the legitimate question of democratization, self-rule, respect for collective dignity and existence of the Oromo people. That's what the Oromo people, and for that matter, other nations and nationalities wanted. Here in our case, the prime minister came to power. He has never been elected. The Oromo people care about real and genuine democracy, about reconciliation. And this is a prime minister who has not been elected. So the fact that he has an Oromo background, or he has an Oromo father or Oromo mother, does not matter.
That was Africa 54 Managing Editor Vincent Makori speaking with Henok Gabisa, co-chair, International Oromo Lawyers Association.